Hello everyone, welcome to today's 11:11. I want to take some time today to share with us and encourage you for this year's Thanksgiving. I hope and trust that God is blessing you and He is providing for your needs and ministering in your life as He does mine. I know I am grateful this year for great parentage, not perfect parentage. My mother or my father, who's passed on now, neither one would say that they are perfect people, but certainly that they kept us in church, and we saw their example in prayer. We saw the frustrations they had in life as well, but we understood that the place to go to was that altar, that we have a heritage there where no matter what happens in life that we go to. And as believers, no matter how you were raised, if you are following Christ right now, you understand that advantage, the advantage of being able to come to God and give Him your cares and burdens, and He listens and cares for you and gives you the presence of His Spirit as a comfort, and gives your mind peace in spite of all the circumstances that are going on. As believers, we have that strength and that advantage. So I'm really looking forward to Thanksgiving. And of course in America, and this is our custom at our house, where we have family, and the family comes over and we have this big feast, and it's a great celebration. It's a reminder of the goodness of God. It's a day to return thanks to God, our Creator. I'm always amazed by people in the world that say it's a day to be thankful. Well, who are you thankful to? We're thankful to God for His provision. And there, of course, there are people to be thankful to. And I'm grateful for our forefathers in America, that more than half of the early pilgrims died within the first just a couple of years after they landed in America. And that first illustration of the Native Americans, the Indians, sharing their food in that time set a precedent from then on. And no matter what culture says about Thanksgiving, that's really the origins of it, in a peaceful exchange of appreciation and concern for one another, no matter where we come from, no matter what walk of life we come from. So I want to ask you a couple questions today. Number one, are you grateful? Do you share what you have with other people? Do you expect something in return when you are generous? That's a good question. Sort of you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of thing. Do you give of your time and your talent to the Lord? Do you volunteer and serve at church as God's called you to serve or beyond? Do you praise the good that you see in other people? When you see good things in their life, do you give them kudos and adoration? And this is really important, in life. And as a parent, it seems that when the kids are younger, we give them a lot more praise. As they get older, maybe we get a little more critical, I don't know. But still, everyone deserves praise. I'm reminded of the account in Luke chapter 17 of the 10 lepers, and I'm sure you're aware of it. And you can read it beginning in verse number 11 through verse number 19. It says that Jesus healed all 10 of them, right? And only one came back and was grateful. And leprosy is a terrible disease, and it's unattractive to the skin. It makes one look different and unattractive, right? And it's a difficult, debilitating thing. Parts of their external members of your body would fall off. Toes and fingers could wither away and dry up and fall off. So it was a terrible thing. And these 10 lepers who came, and they're in Jesus's path, if you will, and they say, "Have mercy on us," and Jesus heals them, and all 10 were healed, but only one came back and gave Him thanks. And the Bible prescribed particular sacrifices for, excuse me, that's the phone. It's just ringing. I'm just going to let it ring. Sacrifices for being healed, for someone who is cured. Leviticus chapter 14 gives us that in the law. So by complying with these regulations, Jesus doesn't do anything to violate the law or offend the priest. So He heals them, and He does this in perfect fashion. You would have expected all 10 of them, though, to come back and give Him thanks and thank for this new start in life. And it was a new start. It was a big start. And even though he was, they were not a Jew, but rather Samaritan, there's a racial component there, social, economic biases, and all these things. Still, Jesus does this, and He heals them. And how grateful should they have been. It kind of reminds us of us. Many times that God gives us healing or provision, and it's up to us to give him gratitude and thanks and return that back to him. You know, it's good if Christians keep a journal, a notebook. I do that. This one's not very fancy, but I keep it. And every day I write down a devotion or something in that. And what happens is I'm able to go back and look at the history of how God provided for that thing. Because sometimes along the way we ask for God for something, much maybe like these 10 lepers did, and at least 9 of them. And then God provides, and we just get busy and we continue on, and we forget to give God the gratitude and thanks for his provision in our lives. I bet you, and I challenge you, if you begin to take notes of the things that you ask God for, you know, even today, right, 11:23, like I did on my notebook, and you begin to say, God, I need your provision in my life. I need your healing in my son or my daughter. I need your wisdom for my job, or we need this, or God, I thank you for this. Make sure to, give him gratitude, but every day, and worship him. But as you list your needs, I'm talking about your needs, as you list them like these 10 lepers did, they had a need, and you look back and you date them. If you go back in your notebook, like I have, and you will see, you'll begin to cross things out, because God will begin to answer your prayer. He will answer your prayer. God always answers prayer. It's never that he will not or that he doesn't. He has great compassion. But just as he did for these 10 lepers, you'll see that God will provide and he will minister to you. So I challenge you today, begin to take notes of the things you ask God for and label them. I know it's kind of guys, we don't like to keep diaries necessarily, or not as good at it probably as some of the ladies are. I think that they're much more organized than us men. I mean, that's just the way that it is. But if you begin to do that, doesn't have to be fancy, can just be a spiral binder like this. If you begin to do that, you'll begin to see how God is answered, and you'll begin to give him more worship and gratitude, and he'll be able to do even more in your life than you could ever imagine. So I hope this encourages you today, and that you're driven to take notes and remember that God will provide, and he will meet the need in his time according to his will, and he's a good father to his children. And so God bless you. I will talk to you again on Wednesday. It'll be my turn again for the 11, and have a great day in the Lord. Bye now.